I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a 3-minute cattle market update for Friday, November the 11th, brought to you in part by the International Brangus Breeders Association. Brangus cattle are known for being heat tolerant, but did you know they can withstand cold weather too? Brangus cattle adapt well to any environment. Maybe it's time for you to go Brangus. For more information or to find a breeder near you, visit gobrangus.com. Collective sigh of relief after the amazing win by Trump to win the presidency, and you're not going to hear that a lot from a lot of analysts because most of them are in Chicago or are influenced heavily by Chicago, and those people, just all the people in the big cities were mostly for Clinton. If you don't believe it, look at that map that's totally red except for occasional blue dots at the big metro areas, but those Chicago people are kind of got their heads in a fog and not sure if they can see the big picture, and it might have something to do with all those bullets that are flying around on the streets there. But if you look out in the rural areas and out there where the cattle are turned out and out where people are doing production agriculture, these people were scared. They were scared they'd pretty much come to the realization that Hillary was going to get in, and all the political correctness and all the sympathy for all the PETA groups and this and that and the other, that they just knew in time was going to put a crunch on their way of life. And all of a sudden you just have this big weight lifted off your shoulders, and you think, my gosh, you know, we've taken the country back, and just anybody that's got anything to do with production, agriculture, outdoors, anything is just so relieved. But you saw that from the publicly traded markets, and everybody, they tried to make people believe they were going to crash if Trump got in, and in fact they went all-time highs like on the Dow. You look at your cattle futures, live cattle, December contract, Wednesday was up 87 cents, Thursday up $1.02 to end the day on Thursday at 104.50. Your feeder cattle for January, Wednesday was up 50 cents, Thursday up 60 cents to end the day on Thursday at 120.32. Your November spot feeder futures at 125.20. But if you look at those spring futures down the line, they're trading like 115, 116, not real whippy for a 800-pound steer. So that's putting a little burden on your stocker market, even though we've got a lot of demand from all this wheat that's really popping out from that moisture that we had last weekend. Fat cattle trade has really not developed yet. You know, we had some early week trade, just a string or so in Nebraska at 103, and that was kind of a downer because it was below what we got last week, and we'd lost $1 last week after that big gain we saw 2 weeks ago. But on Wednesday, mostly the only trade you had was the online deal, and it was similar to that trade that we saw, that string that sold on Tuesday there, sales from 102 and a quarter to 104, but not nearly enough to establish the market. And now that we've seen the board come up on Thursday, it looks like we're sure going to get at least the top end of that, 104 up to 106. So anywhere from 104 to 106, but 106 is sure not out of the realm of possibility, and a good bet's about 105. But you look at your other things that are going on, improved exports were reported this week, and that's a big bolster for fundamental cattle markets there. But your actual weights rose again there for the week ending October 29th. Your average steer weight on a dress deal was 917 pounds. That's 2 pounds bigger than it was the previous report that come out, which that had been steady to the week before that, and we thought maybe we'd reach the top of that and we were going to start declining, but not yet. Slaughter so far through the week through Thursday, 457,000, which is the same as last week and 23,000 more than the same week a year ago. Look at your cash feeder cattle markets. El Reno, Oklahoma, feeders, there's a heavy weight on these feeders because if you look at that your fat board way down the line, we can't get any of these, even the big feeders, we can't get them done in line with the April board. So we've got to go on to the June, and when you do that, you lose about $8. And that's where all these feeders are at right now, these yearling feeders. And the feeders are $3 to $4 lower, although good demand for calves. Like we said, they got a lot of wheat. So your calves in El Reno unevenly steady. They had a big special value added sale there for your quality beef network out of Oklahoma. A lot of those cattle all weaned, all preconditioned shots, the whole mess, $6 to $7 higher, and you're seeing that in a lot of the sales. The cattle that have been preconditioned right, especially the top quality cattle are just outselling the ballers by a long ways, because it's time to turn out wheat. You want to turn your wheat cattle out November 15th. Well, we ain't got time to shut them up and straighten them out. So when you run into some cattle like that, it's easy to give $6 or $7 more for them, because you don't have the time, the luxury to get them in. And plus, a lot of these cattle are losing 4 or 5% death loss here on a lot of these cattle that are unweaned coming in, and they can't stand that. Look at Cattle Market Central out of OKC West there in El Reno, around 12:30, just after lunch there on Wednesday. We had half a load of steer calves weighing 490 at 155, and on a straight flat 500-pound steer, I don't care how good they are, $150 is the absolute top, and they're not getting that even in Nebraska and South Dakota, where you've had steer jocks sorting through there and pulling out show steers. So that's awful good market there. But that's 3 minutes. We'll talk to you next week.